Okay, Earth calling Triple H. Earth calling Vince. All right, Earth calling Dana. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna enable and allow the WWE to be the godfather of wrestling. And this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna give the people something they have never seen before. And this is gonna take wrestling to a whole new level, put it on a whole new plateau. All right? Now, check this out. All right. So, where we at right here? This is where we at right here, right? I looked up online, said we average about 100 events, maybe 90, maybe 110, right? A year. In AEW, they average about what? 10 to 12 events. From what I've seen, it was like 10 to 12. Okay. Now, Impact, they average 6, maybe, I don't know, 10, man, I don't know, a shorter number of events, right? So, what we're going to do is, as you can see, we have on the list, we got that on the list. All right. So, Undertaker just left here and went here, right? Undertaker's going to leave here and go here. In the process of Undertaker going here, he's going to talk smack about here. You know, basically saying they're soft and all of that. We're going to create a storyline from here to here because this is the biggest. WWE is the biggest. AEW is the second biggest, right? So when Undertaker leaves the WWE, he's going to go to AEW. He's going to talk smack about WWE and WWE champions. This is going to be when he's at the AEW. And when this happens, it's going to go here. Social media. All right? It's going to go to social media. It's going to go to social media. Undertaker talking smack about it, WWE champions, da-da-da-da-da, this, that, and the third, da-da-da-da. Build a lot of hype about it, let people hear about it. Okay. So, that was in the AEW episode. Now, it goes viral. Now, of course, the next WWE match we got, boom, comes a response. Whoever's the champion of WWE talks smacks to the Undertaker, you know, basically saying he couldn't hack it. You know, he couldn't hack it. He wasn't strong enough. And then he's going to also put in there, he's going to say, you know, Undertaker, you're all washed up. You're about as washed up as the WCW. Bam. Okay. That's what we have the WCW. Okay. Now, what we're going to do essentially is we're going to resurrect these two brands. Okay? We're going to resurrect these two brands. Okay, so he's going to say, hey, you're all washed up. You're about as washed up as the WCW. Okay? Now, when that happens, a representative from here that's still young, still fit, and, you know, is ready to pick up the torch that didn't go here, but just kind of drifted out of nowhere, but has a solid fan base, is going to go here. Okay? Social media. All right? He's going to go to social media. All right? Basically talking smack. Building a narration. All right? Now, when that happens, we go back to AEW. The Undertaker's going to be talking again. You say I'm washed up as a WCW, as a wrestler from a WCW. If I'm washed up as a wrestler from the WCW, then you're about as fake as a wrestler from the ECW. See what we getting at? ECW. Anyway, so by doing that, of course, it's gonna get a response. 1 second. Yeah, by doing that, it's gonna get a response. All right. Right here, same thing happens. Gonna go right here. Gonna go right here. All right. Now, we're gonna take that and we're gonna run with it. WCW gonna make champion lose his title, you know, or maybe get the bell ringed up from jumping in, you know, an surprise attack there, audience seeing that. Same thing with ECW, surprise attack on AEW. All right. Now, the goal of this is to usher in more wrestlers that have previous fan bases and new wrestlers, and broaden the scope of our wrestling. All right. So we're gonna do that. All right. And then of course we're gonna have, you know, it got to be a good story too, Triple H. It got to be like an amazing story, you know, with amazing build up. You know, 3 WCW wrestlers beating down this and this, even to the point where if you can get 15 to 20 of them catching somebody, you know, from the WWE leaving outside, you know, getting ready to go in the car and getting smashed up, you know what I'm saying? And just letting that world know that the WCW is still alive and it is planning to come out. So we're going to resuscitate these two right here. All right. Now, and here goes 2 reasons why. We're going to resuscitate them for the culture of wrestling, and we're going to resuscitate them so we all can profit. Everybody likes that. We all can profit, okay? So, this is what we're going to do. So, of course, ECW beats down the Undertaker for his comments. WCW beats down the champion, which leads more ECW people, more ECW wrestlers hitting surprise attacks on other AEW wrestlers, more WCW wrestlers, surprise attacks on WWE wrestlers, okay, which we have Impact Wrestling on the side. I'm going to show you how they're going to come in later on, how they're going to come in, all right? Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to show you how they're going to come in. Okay, so what we have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 wrestling organizations. Okay, I just did this last night. I've been thinking about it for a minute, but I did this little special creativity thing last night. So we got right here, WWP, World Wrestling Parade. World Wrestling Parade. The WWP is the World Wrestling Parade. We're going to have our first World Wrestling Parade. Yeah, that's going to be big. Okay. Which is going to comprise of as many wrestlers as we can find from various walks of life. Okay. Nice and meet and greet for the people. You know, big business, big booming. You know, y'all know how to do all that. So, okay. Now, when this happens, when these attacks happen, we're going to build a new championship. Okay? And it's going to be called the IGC, Intergalactic Champions. You hear me? Because these are all galaxies. WWE is the galaxy of its own. AEW, Impact Wrestling, WCW, ECW. These are all galaxies of their own. Some are outdated, but galaxies nonetheless. So the IGC is the Intergalactic Champion. All right. And the IGC is the IGC. We got IGC Tag Team, IGC Triple Threat, and IGC. You know, all of this brackets. And what the IGC is the championship of the champions that removes the barrier of the titles, but brings in the similarities and the sameness of the culture and what we do as wrestlers. All right, Intergalactic Champions. All right. So now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up new streams of revenue for wrestling. And this right here is going to take wrestling times 10. All right? Wrestling times 10. Because you might look at AEW may have 200 wrestlers. WWE may have 400, 300 wrestlers. Impact Wrestling may have 120 wrestlers. ECW may have a previous roster of 110 wrestlers. WCW may have a previous roster of whatever. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to allow other wrestlers to get more of an in-depth storyline right here. Okay? WWA. I like that. It got a nice ring to it. WWA. So what is the WWA? Okay. WWA is basically a studio. It's a studio anyway, the WWA is a studio. World Wrestling Adventures. It's a studio. It's nothing more than a studio where we pre-record and do live shows at one station, one base, one mecca. Right now, we travel around the world booking 100 and something events, traveling around the world, which is awesome and it's amazing, right? And we're going to keep that up. We're not going to stop that, all right? But what's broadcasted on the WWA is going to be like the funneling process to decide who's going to be who right here on these main events. All right? We're going to allow wrestlers to build storylines and usher in new wrestlers and get more of an emotional connection and a character connection at WWA, World Wrestling Adventures. Okay? So, how are we going to do that? First off, as you know, I'm from New York, so everything I do gotta be big. It just gotta be big, you know? So anyway, we're gonna own something massive. When I see WWA, I see, I see a city. Like, I'm talking like, a place that we can, I see massive land with living quarters. Okay? Big living quarters. That's geared for wrestling. for wrestlers, you know. And but it's more like studios, like where Hollywood do their movies and everything like that. We're gonna have the best cameras, the best directors money can buy, the best editors, and we're gonna change the face of wrestling. We're gonna change the face of wrestling. How are we gonna do that? So, we're gonna have 2 storylines from the WWA. Pre-recorded and live recorded. Yep. Pre-recorded and live recorded. 1 second. 1 second. Stay right there. Okay. So we're gonna have pre-recorded and live recorded. Pre-recorded. I'm thinking someplace our studios can be like in Miami. I'm thinking somewhere like in Miami or California. Start off first in one spot. I'm thinking Miami. I'm thinking Miami. But, so when I say pre-recorded, what I'm basically saying is we're gonna usher in a storyline of our characters that encompasses a TV show. So we're gonna have one. Okay, like right now, when the WWE go live, we know that's staged, right? And it goes the way it goes, right? We're gonna re-emulate that, right? That's not focused on our center stars at the WWE and the AEW. Okay? And we're gonna allow the upcoming stars to develop more of a storyline within the WWA while still not neglecting our main stars. So our main stars will still be the stars of the WWA, what's produced out of the WWA. Shut up! They'll still be the main stars, right? But it'll be also looking at who's coming behind them. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like, okay, let's say Roman Reigns is a champion on the WWE. He's still the champion. It follows the same storyline as the WWE and the AEW and the Impact Wrestling, which have an active post at this moment, right? But WCW and ECW doesn't. So we can resurrect those guys and we can bring them to the WWA. You see what I'm saying? To where we can have more. You see what I'm saying? So I'm thinking something like something like 1 live recordings with fandemonium. And what I mean fandemonium is because remember, in this at the WWA is gonna be stationed in one spot. Okay? So because it's a studio, and what it said, we got 150,000 in the studio of people that live in Miami, right? In the storyline, they can be in Texas, they can be anywhere. You see what I'm saying? Because we control the studio, we control the image of the studio. You feel what I'm saying? So if in the storyline the WWA is in Texas, though we're filming out of Miami, and our fans that's going there to see a live recording, like how y'all do a live event at the WWE. You see what I'm saying? When y'all go to Australia and everywhere else, right? Though it's still going to be in Miami, within the storyline, it's in Texas. You feel what I'm saying? And the fans that's in the stands, okay, basically know, okay, you know, they got to, you know, put on this attire, kind of like a film cast with, what they call them, when them people come in and they want to be the extra zombies and stuff like that. Boom. You see what I'm saying? So that will be given off as a live recorded show. You see what I'm saying? As a live event. Same as y'all do with the WWE. Same as they do with the AEW. You see what I'm saying? But it'll be pre-recorded live. But it won't be publicized on TV. Okay? You see what I'm saying? See, the WWE is on these channels. We're not going to take that and we're not going to integrate it with the channels. Okay? We're going to either A, keep it on the website, or B, push it on Netflix. Somehow, so the WWE and the AEW timeline and Impact Wrestling timeline, which are active heartbeats, right, can integrate with the WWA and fall in sync. You see what I'm saying? I'm thinking something more like Netflix. You know, yeah, something more like Netflix. That's what I'm thinking. So, that's one version of what's going to be broadcasted on WWA. Those will be considered live streams. But the other version, okay, those will be considered live streams, right? Which will give all of the other wrestlers time to build their fan base and perfect their craft. Okay? 1 second. So, then, with the studios, okay, we're going to be able to do with the studios, we're going to be able to, yeah, you know, got him on that brown. Little brownie brown. With the studios, we're going to be able to do an actual TV show. As a matter of fact, no, I'm sorry. Let me go back. The first one I was just talking about is going to be streamed to the site. Yeah, stream that to the site. The show is what's going to go on Netflix. Now, that's not all. So when I say a show, I'm talking like, for instance, you, Rock, you know, you guys, know about this. So with the show, we can make it more, more movie-like, more real, and control the narrative while extending the longevity of the wrestlers, right? Because it's no longer live wrestling. It's now simulated to acting with storylines, emotional storylines. These actors, these wrestlers are gonna have to tap into their acting skills. Okay? With family dynamic. You know what I'm saying? For real. They're gonna have to tap into their acting skills. And we're gonna build a franchise TV show. Streaming on Netflix. Or maybe Disney. I don't know. Whichever one's beneficial. Now, with this show, we're going to be able to give different timelines. We can go back and dig into the history of wrestling, recreating the Ultimate Warrior, telling the story of how he came into fruition with a character as an active portrayal. You feel me? We can highlight all the greats in this show. What's the show gonna be called? I'm thinking Rest in Peace. WREST in peace. Or Wild Wild Rest. Short for Wild Wild Wrestling. WWW Wild Wild Rest. WREST. Wild Wild Wrestling. Bringing how wrestling came into fruition. We can give two storylines, create two different shows. So, the Wild Wild West can be a thing of what's going on now. And Rest in Peace can be how it came into fruition, how wrestling was birthed, how it was born, showing like how Rock used to say, how Rock would say, I remember I used to do gas station gigs and all of that, showing the old days of wrestling with a storyline and how it came about to where it is now, minus the narration, more like a story being told as a TV show. Like 1986, 1987 Yellowstone, something like that. Therefore, our moves can show more crushing. It can be more crushing, giving the fans what they want without the expense of hurting our wrestlers. See what I'm saying? We can go more dramatic, like when Shawn Michaels Sweet Chin Music, Marty Jannetty through the glass, recreating that scene. You feel what I'm saying? And usher that into the Wild Wild West because it's all acted in stuntman portrayals. That's foreshadowing what's going on here. So we'll take ECW wrestlers and WCW wrestlers and usher them. We'll let their main attractions work their way on the live shows, okay, to let them know that their heartbeat is racing. But we'll usher in until they get on their feet them into the WWA. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, they can still give, they can still be active. They can still build their wrestling portfolio. They can still adhere to their fans in the next episode. Now, with that as well, we can do the same with the UFC. Allowing their special guests to cross over and be in that WWA, which is pre-recorded. Remember, 2 segments. One is live recordings, and the other one that we're gonna do is movie simulated, TV show simulated. Okay, not live. You feel what I'm saying? So one side is gonna be like a baby WWE when we go live. The other side is gonna be like Yellowstone. You feel me? You rocking with me, Triple H? So I'm thinking for the IGC champion, Triple H, you be who you love to be. Make the rules up as you go. Because you're such and such, such and such. When this battle breaks out on the WWE, I'm going to send you written content as well. When this battle breaks out on the WWE of all the multiverses of wrestling, and it becomes pandemonium, we got Impact Wrestling invading WWE live matches, AEW invading WWE, WCW invading WWE, ECW invading AEW, WCW invading AEW, Impact Wrestling invading AEW, right? That's illegal. That's unheard of. That's pandemonium. So, because of this, you're going to stand up with the title and you're going to come out with the first ever diamond encrusted championship belt for the millions. You know what I'm saying? Diamond encrusted. Now, of course, it can be them knockoff diamonds. You feel me? It can be the ones that pass the test, but it ain't the real deal. But it's going to be fully diamond encrusted intergalactic championship title. Tag team, you got the tag team triple threat, the same as what we have on our lineup. Just intergalactic division, which is a place where all these wrestlers, we can combine WCW versus Impact Wrestling on a fair plane. We can combine AEW wrestler versus the WWE. You feel what I'm saying? Without intermeshing or ruining what we have. So independently, we will all still keep our storyline. The WWE will not change AEW storyline. AEW will not change WWE storyline. Impact Wrestling will not change AEW's or WWE story and vice versa. You feel what I'm saying? But collectively, we'll stop looking at each other's hand like we playing poker and who's going to beat who. And we're going to take our storylines and we're going to say, okay, this is what we got going this year. Okay, I like that. All right, boom, 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 boom. And then we're gonna find an interconnection. Okay, so this guy right here, he loses right here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is on this side right here of AEW, this guy loses the championship. You feel what I'm saying? And the third person, the other person who he lost, the third runner up may find, or the second one, or the person who lost may find a title on the intergalactic side. You see what I'm saying? Or however y'all want to do it. You know what I'm saying? It may be such a big title that, because I'm thinking the intergalactic. When I hear intergalactic, I'm talking about ruler of all wrestling nations, like some gladiators type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the baddest of the baddest. The champion may hold two titles, which will at the home front may allow him to lose, certain titles. I don't know. It depends on how y'all want to do that. But so I'm thinking something, because it's gonna be the intergalactic champion. I'm thinking something like in the storyline, the TV show, we're gonna be able to take wrestling to a whole new level. Like giving more of the life of the everyday wrestler. So, let's say, it's a lot of stress on maybe like a wrestler like The Rock. He's getting older. He's coming back, making his comeback, and there's this new guy, and he's running for the IGC, and he's a tough match. Remember, this is in the TV show. Giving more of an intimate storyline, the stresses he has on a daily life of the character, and maybe he's going this near, he's speaking with fans, and this, that, and the third, and he gets a bullshit script, it's fucking high, and whatever, kind of crossing the threshold of wrestling and giving it more of a scripted that it meshed into a realistic. So when I was young and I was watching WWF, you couldn't tell me wrestling wasn't real. And me and my brothers and my cousins and my homeboys, we all did the real deal. You know what I'm saying? We real deal. We really rock bottomed your ass. You know what I'm saying? We really DDT'd your ass. You know what I'm saying? And you had to use your common sense when I had you in the DDT and I was coming down. You had to use your common sense to, you know what I'm saying? Because I really bust your head to the ground. You feel what I'm saying? Because I thought it was real. So we're gonna play with that. We're gonna play with that on a TV show. Giving more of a realistic look to wrestling with various angles. I'm feeling that. Intergalactic champion. The new IGC Intergalactic champion. So I'm seeing something. So let me give you an example. Like Triple H, you're standing in front of all these wrestlers at the top of some. I'm talking like a gladiator type of arena that's never been seen before. We can't do it on real wrestling because it's too dangerous. But remember, this is a TV show, okay? So you're sitting there, and you're like, you know, because you the guy with the mic, and you make the rules, and whoever makes it to the top and claim and finds these titles, it's the new IGC. And within this pyramid, this tower, you got the championship areas, you got, you know, whatever, you know, all the divisions of the intergalactic champions, right? Triple threats, all of that, you know. So, you know, you'll still have your team members who's like the Dudley brothers who stick together no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And they'll enter a spot where it's like, oh, this is the tag team part. You know, when they make it to the tag team part and they're walking through, you know what I'm saying, and at night and inside this arena of a gladiator dome or pyramid or tower, we're gonna utilize these other wrestlers that's viewed as the bottom as minions. Like, I look online, we have something like dwarf wrestling. Okay? These guys, you know, might be hide out in the cut, you know, with their masks and all of that or whatever, you know, and they come out, ooh, swinging on a rope and boom, you know what I'm saying, and kicking this wrestler and just, you know, really messing them up, you know what I'm saying, in cahoots with other wrestlers that's there to protect these titles. And it's like an area where these wrestlers right here, they're not only fighting each other, but they're making it through the maze. You see what I'm saying? They're making it through the maze, and the terrain is different. Okay? The terrain is different. You know, I'm seeing a part where, like, The Rock is climbing, and, you know what I'm saying, he got to climb the mountain, you know what I'm saying, and it's not a mountain, but it's the terrain of the tower that they're in. You see what I'm saying? And he got to make it to the top and all of that, and John Cena's on the other side, and he's going for the IGC, and Roman Reigns is over there going for the IGC, and this guy's going for the IGC, and they get to the point where they're all interacting with each other, and they all fighting each other, but John Cena and The Rock and pledging allegiance to themselves, and, you know, Roman Reigns and this other dude, you know, maybe Chris Jericho, you know what I'm saying, or Undertaker, you know, Roman Reigns and Undertaker sitting there, and it's like, well, if they're clicking up, we're going to click up too, you know what I'm saying, whatever, you know, or, you know, just whatever storyline you guys can come up with, you know, to where they're going at it. And, like, you know, when they make it to the top, they go at it, this, that, and the third. I'm seeing something like, you know, The Rock taking a hero loss, you know, like he's sitting there helping John Cena, because John Cena's at the end of the cliff, at the end of the tower, getting punched down. But you know, like how when people fall and it's that big net, you know what I'm saying, that big net that be out to where it's not dangerous. So we're not doing nothing fictitious. All right, we're not pushing the boundaries of fakeness. All right. So like on the tower, it's like, you know, it can have like metal rods that stick out that if you fall off, boom, 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 you'll roll down the net and land on whatever hard as hell, you know, but you won't, you know, be severely injured, you know what I'm saying? And John Cena's at the cliff, and then boom, and The Rock come through, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe, you know, whatever, somehow The Rock tackles the dude, you know what I'm saying, and falls off the cliff, and boom, 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 which takes him out of the position of winning of the IGC. You feel what I'm saying? Because, you know, it takes him out of the position of winning the IGC because he'll make it all the way back down to the bottom of the journey. And the first one that grabs it is the winner. Of course, we'll have the women integrated as well into the storyline. You know what I'm saying? And all that's fine. And wrestling with dudes and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so he gets knocked out of position, which leaves John Cena this and this, and he gets, you know, to the point where he gets to the last and you know, and the stadiums and the cameras is on him, and you know, maybe he beats this dude or whoever, you know, Roman Reigns or whatever the case may be, after Roman Reigns X'd out the Undertaker, and you know what I'm saying, and he's getting ready to grab the title, and he getting ready to grab the title, and all of a sudden, here you come, Triple H, and you boom, you know what I'm saying, you kick the ladder from under him, make him fall, you know what I'm saying, or maybe you sit there like a good guy and go, okay, brother, you got it, I believe in you, and then you look to the right, and your dwarfs that you control, you know, come through and boom, and kick John Cena, and everybody's looking like, oh. Now remember, this is on stage, so you got kind of like a gladiator theme of fans that's outside watching this on a prompter, you know, on a big prompter that's in front of their face, and they're all like, oh man, you know, and then all of a sudden you pick them up, bring them to me, you know what I'm saying, boom, you know, kick them and what, you feel what I'm saying, boom, you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean, you know what I'm feeling, you know what I'm saying, you pedigree them, bang, you feel what I'm saying, and then you kick him down the off the tower, and he hits the net and falls all the way down the net, 13, 14 stories, you know, whatever, you know, and down the net till he falls on the ground, and everybody's looking like, and then you grab the IGC, you feel what I'm saying? And you become the IGC, you know what I'm saying, champion, you know, things like that, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, just things of that nature, man. But I got some more stuff, you know what I'm saying? You will be getting some information shortly.